Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is MichaelQLau with another episode of the ABEL show. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing the real Lone Ranger. So I know you've all heard and seen the Lone Ranger. He's wearing the black mask, wearing the white horse.
The Lone Ranger.
Well, did you actually know where the origin of the story came from? Well, it really came from in the 1860s, this guy named Bass Reeves. He escaped slavery from the Civil War from when his slave owner, the Reeves family, when they moved from one county to the next. And during the Civil War, he was able to escape and get his freedom. And then he escaped into the Oklahoma Territory, or what we call it now, Oklahoma today, which was back then the Indian Territory. So he was able to escape, and then when he moved over there, he needed to be able to make some work. So one thing that he did, he became a cowboy in the Wild Wild West. Now, during these times, of course, as of any other time, the black people had to do the harder work of the cowboys of the day. And 25% of the greatest cowboys were African American. So some of the hard work that they had to do is they had to be able to cross the rivers first to make sure like the trek was safe for everybody else to follow. And a little unknown fact is that the cowboys was actually a derogatory term that was used to describe the black cowboys as cow hands. So cowboys actually came from the derogatory word, and it now is the cowboys. So it was just one of those things that go in life. As words change, the meaning of the words change as well. Bass Reeves was born in July 1938, and like during the Civil War, he escaped, as I previously mentioned, between the April 1861 and 1862. So during this time, if I'm doing my calculations right, he was around 23 years old, 23 to 27 when he found his escape and became a cowboy. So he was later on eventually married in 1875, where he was in 1865, Judge Isaac Parker hired him as one of the 200 deputy marshals in Oklahoma Territory to send out to tame Indian country. Now, it's the Wild Wild West, so it's a lot of crime going on, and just a lot of mayhem because they don't really have everything under control like the other areas. It's not as tame. So he was one of the main people that was going out and getting warrant and bringing the different criminals in that had warrants for their arrest, dead or alive. And as you know, in the show, The Lone Ranger, that's all that he was doing. He was going out and getting people's warrants for their arrest. So his signature trademark was a black hat, his Colt 45s, and then he rode on a silver horse. Now, for a period of time, he did wear a white horse, so that's where the Lone Ranger got the white horse from. But he didn't wear it. He didn't ride the horse for a long period of time. He actually rode a silver horse for most of his legacy. And even though the short gap with the white horse, it jumped back to the silver horse. So he actually rode a silver horse. Another thing that they got right was Tonto being the Native American. As you see, he's a sidekick of the Lone Ranger. And Tonto would help Bass Reeves navigate the Wild Wild West as they went on throughout their adventures.
Be Mister, hiding behind that mask giving orders.
I'm not giving you orders, I'm just warning you. That's Apache country.
And he was very feared by a lot of the people that he was going after. So one of his calling cards was the silver dollar. And then he was called the Abominable Marshal because he had a relentless pursuit of the people that he was going after. So once he was your target, it was a wrap. And in one of the newspaper articles, they called him the Abominable Marshal, so tough that he could spit on the brick and break it. Now, I don't know. That's pretty tough. But more so about him, another newspaper article reported Reeves had brought in 3,000 living felons and then 20 dead. And then Bass Reeves corrected them, stating that he killed 14 men in self-defense. So I guess he added on to it. Well, he didn't add on to it, but the 20 dead, 14 was because of self-defense. So he didn't kill him just because to kill him. He always wanted to be able to bring him in. But, you know, if it's his life against theirs, he was always going to be their life. To learn more information about Purium and the family of products, check out the description down below to set up a 15-minute complimentary call. And you can also check out the website. You're just one click away for a better life. Your health is too important to continue to push it off. Go ahead and check out the website and see if a product fits you. And one thing that the felons also feared about him is like he was never shot. A bullet never touched him. So that's why they call him the abominable marshal as well. Because not only did he bring him in, he didn't get grazed at all. And then there's an interesting story about a three-man arrest. So one day, 3 of the felons got the best of him. They got the jump on him, as they would say back in the day. And basically, they surrounded him, and they got him off of his horse, confiscated his Colt 45s, and then they thought that they were going to get the best of him. And what happened is that he asked, "What's the date for the day?" And the men said, "What does it matter?" And then Reeves said, "Because I would like to I always put the date on the back of the warrant for when I turn people in." And during that time that they were distracted, he grabbed one of the felons' guns, and somebody else, one of the other felons, drew his gun, and that person was shot. And then he busted the other guy's head and killed him. And then the other guy had a lot of sense, and he just went ahead and submitted. So I guess that's two of the people that he killed out of self-defense, and then one of the 3,000 that he brought in from the felons without being harmed. So 3 against 1, he still came up on the sun. All right. Although he lived in the 1800s, there was actually a statue that was erected in 1992 in Fort Smith. He was elected into the Hall of Great Westerners. So he now has a statue, and he's able to be remembered forever and indefinitely. And this is actually after all of the Lone Ranger series. It first started off as a radio show, then a TV show, you know, in black and white, and then there are several movies that came out again for the Lone Ranger as well. So there's a lot of history that was given. Although in the Lone Ranger you see a white man portraying the character, it really came from Bass Reeves. In Bass Reeves' obituary, it so eloquently described him as absolutely fearless and knowing no master. And I believe that really sums it up, because he was a master of his duty and of doing right and wrong and being able to provide for his family and taking down law where all the felons struck. All right, so that's a little known Black history fact. I'm doing a video all throughout this month of February describing some little known, unknown facts about Black history. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely check out this video, and then go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, and smash that notification bell so you can get the next video when I drop that all throughout the month of February. And my goal is to be able to go 28 for 28 for every day of Black History Month during this year. All right, as always, y'all stay fearfully fit and fearfully blessed.